Have you ever wondered what true silence sounds like? Not just the absence of noise, but a silence so profound it almost presses against your skin, making you aware of every breath, every heartbeat, every subtle movement of the world around you. In our daily lives, we're surrounded by a constant hum. Traffic, conversations, the buzz of electronics, even the distant sounds of the city that never quite fade away. But what if you could step away from all of that and experience a silence so deep it feels like another world? Not the quiet of a library, or the hush that falls late at night in your neighborhood, but a silence so deep it feels almost physical. It's the kind of quiet that makes you realize how rare true silence really is, and how much noise we carry with us, even when we think we're alone. In the heart of a misty forest at dawn, with no human presence for miles, the world feels untouched, ancient, and still. The only sounds are the soft rustle of leaves, the distant call of a bird, and the gentle whisper of the wind. I set out to find that silence, 7 days alone in an off-grid tiny cabin, far from the noise of modern life. The idea was simple, to strip away all distractions, to see what would happen when there was nothing left but me and the wild. Would I find peace, or would the silence become overwhelming? Would I discover something new about myself, or would I simply be left with my own thoughts echoing in the quiet? No running water, no electricity, no internet. The cabin was as basic as it gets, just 4 walls, a roof, and the bare essentials for survival. Every task, from fetching water to lighting a candle, became a ritual, a way to slow down and reconnect with the rhythms of nature. Without the distractions of screens and notifications, time seemed to stretch out, each moment more vivid and real. Just me, a few books, and the wild. I brought along a small stack of well-loved novels and journals, hoping to fill the long hours with reading and reflection. But even the act of reading felt different here, surrounded by the quiet presence of the forest. The words seemed to sink in deeper, and my thoughts wandered in new directions, inspired by the solitude and the beauty outside my window. The journey began with a long drive and a hike, each step peeling away the layers of daily stress. As I left the last traces of civilization behind, I could feel my mind begin to quiet, my senses sharpening to the sights and sounds of the woods, the crunch of leaves underfoot, the scent of pine in the air, the cool breeze on my face, all reminders that I was entering a different kind of space, one where time moved at its own pace. I was about to discover if solitude would be a comfort or a challenge, and what lessons silence had to teach. Would I find clarity and peace, or would the quiet bring up fears and doubts I'd been avoiding? In the stillness of the cabin, with only my thoughts for company, I was forced to confront myself in ways I never had before. Every creak of the wood, every shadow at dusk became part of the experience, a reminder that silence is never truly empty, but full of possibility. The cabin, waiting in the wilderness, promised a week of radical simplicity and self-reliance. It was an invitation to slow down, to listen, and to rediscover what it means to be truly present. In the days ahead, I would learn that silence is not just the absence of noise, but a space where you can finally hear yourself think, and maybe, just maybe, find the answers you've been searching for all along. The cabin overlooked a vast, untouched valley, a place where the world seemed to pause and breathe. Perched on the edge of the wilderness, it felt as if I had stepped into a different reality, one where time moved slower and every detail of the landscape was magnified. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of pine and earth, and the only sounds were those of the natural world. There were no roads winding through the trees, no distant hum of cars or chatter of neighbors, just endless green, stretching as far as the eye could see, a living, breathing tapestry of forest that seemed to go on forever. The absence of human presence was profound, and it made the wilderness feel even more immense and mysterious. The silence here was alive, not empty. By day, the forest was filled with the songs of birds, warblers, thrushes, and the occasional woodpecker tapping in the distance. At night, the world transformed. The crackle of the fire outside the cabin mingled with the haunting calls of owls, and the darkness felt deep and comforting, wrapping the cabin in a cocoon of peace. It took time for my ears to adjust, to stop searching for the familiar hum of civilization. At first, I found myself listening for distant engines or the buzz of electricity, but gradually, my senses recalibrated. I began to notice the subtle rustle of leaves, the soft patter of rain on the roof, and the gentle sigh of wind through the trees. The quiet was not an absence, but a presence, one that invited me to slow down and truly listen. Here, every moment was deliberate. Chopping wood became a meditative act, each swing of the axe grounding me in the present. Fetching water from the nearby stream was a ritual, a reminder of the effort required to meet even the simplest needs. I found myself watching clouds drift lazily across the sky, their shapes shifting and dissolving in the afternoon sun. Life here was stripped down to its essentials, and every task felt meaningful. The cabin itself was pure function, timber walls, a sturdy sloping roof, and large windows that welcomed the morning sun. Each day, sunlight would pour in, illuminating the simple interior and casting warm patterns on the wooden floor. The design was humble, yet perfectly suited to its surroundings, blending seamlessly with the forest outside. There were no frills, no unnecessary luxuries, just what was needed to live simply and respect the land. A small table, a sturdy chair, a bed tucked beneath a window. The natural wood walls seemed to blur the line between inside and out, reminding me that I was a guest in this wild place, not its master. For 7 days, this tiny home would be my world, a place to reconnect with nature and, more importantly, with myself. Each morning, I woke to the soft light filtering through the trees, and each evening, I watched the stars emerge in a sky unspoiled by city lights. The rhythm of the days was dictated by the sun and the weather, not by clocks or schedules. In this quiet, I began to reclaim my focus and attention. I spent hours journaling by the window, letting my thoughts wander and settle. I meditated as the sun rose, feeling a sense of clarity and calm that had eluded me in the rush of daily life. Surrounded by the vastness of the forest, I found a new perspective, one that reminded me of the beauty of simplicity and the power of being truly present in the moment. Why trade comfort for hardship? Why leave behind the warmth of a familiar home, the ease of modern life, and the constant hum of technology? For many, the answer is simple. There's a call that echoes from the wild places, a pull that tugs at something deep within us. It's a longing to reconnect with the world in its rawest form, to step away from the noise and clutter, and to rediscover what it means to truly live. To test what self-reliance really means. Out here, there's no one to call when things go wrong, no quick fixes or shortcuts. Every task, no matter how small, becomes a lesson in patience and perseverance. Chopping wood isn't just a chore, it's survival. Lighting a fire is no longer a convenience, but a necessity that brings warmth and comfort after a long, cold day. I'd met many who chose this life, but I'd only observed, never lived it. I watched as they built their days around the rhythms of nature, their routines dictated by the sun, the weather, and the changing seasons. I admired their resilience, but I wondered if I could ever do the same. Could I learn to rely on myself, to find satisfaction in the simplest of victories? Here, every action mattered. Collect wood or be cold, gather kindling or risk a night without warmth. The consequences of inaction are immediate and real. There's no room for procrastination, no buffer between effort and result. Each log stacked, each bundle of kindling prepared, is a small triumph against the elements. Ration food, or go hungry. Meals become more than just sustenance. They're a reminder of the work that went into every bite. Foraging, storing, and preparing food takes on a new significance. There's a mindfulness to eating here, an appreciation for the effort behind every meal. The direct link between effort and outcome was both daunting and empowering. In the city, it's easy to lose sight of the impact of our actions. Here, the feedback is immediate. Hard work is rewarded with warmth, food, and a sense of accomplishment that can't be bought or faked. I wanted to strip away convenience, to see what skills I truly had. Could I build a fire from scratch? Could I find my way through the woods, or fix what was broken with only what I had on hand? These questions became daily challenges, pushing me to learn, adapt, and grow. The wild doesn't romanticize hardship, it demands respect and adaptation. Nature is indifferent to comfort or convenience. Storms come, supplies run low, and plans change in an instant. The only way forward is to meet each challenge head-on, to accept discomfort as part of the journey. In the silence, I hope to find clarity, to let my mind wander without distraction. The quiet here is profound, broken only by the sounds of wind in the trees or the distant call of a bird. It's in these moments of stillness that I began to understand myself in new ways. This was as much an inward journey as it was a physical one. Each day brought new challenges, but also new insights. In the wild, stripped of distractions, I found space to reflect, to question, and to grow. The pull of the wild is more than a call to adventure. It's an invitation to rediscover who we are, when all else is stripped away. The cabin was smaller than I'd imagined. One room for everything, no hum of appliances, just the soft scent of pine and wood smoke, a wood stove, a simple kitchenette, a sleeping loft, every inch designed for purpose. Power came from a single solar panel, enough for 2 LED lights. The composting toilet in the outhouse was a lesson in resourcefulness. Every feature was intentional, every space used wisely. This wasn't deprivation, it was mindful living, and the silence inside was profound. My days fell into a natural rhythm, set by the sun and my needs. Mornings meant rekindling the fire, boiling water for tea, and feeling gratitude for warmth. Chores followed, hauling wood, fetching water from the spring, splitting kindling. Meals were simple, porridge, soup, pasta, each bite earned through effort. As dusk fell, I prepared for darkness, reading or journaling by firelight. Without screens, my mind felt calmer, my sleep deeper. The repetition of these tasks brought unexpected peace. Life was stripped to essentials, and it was deeply satisfying. Off-grid living is where romance meets reality. Water had to be hauled from a spring, 20 kilos at a time, making every drop precious. The wood stove demanded constant attention. Warmth was earned, not given. Power from the solar panel was limited, so I learned to use light and energy sparingly. Food required planning, no fridge, just root vegetables and dried goods. Cooking became creative, one-pot stews, nothing wasted. Every task, washing, heating, eating, was a lesson in resourcefulness. I became acutely aware of how much we waste in daily life. The basics, water, warmth, food, became sources of pride and gratitude. Not every moment was idyllic. Rain turned chores into muddy trials, and loneliness crept in. Lighting a fire with damp kindling tested my patience and skills, but each small victory, warmth after struggle, a meal after hard work, felt monumental. Nature offered rewards. A deer at dawn, a woodpecker's steady rhythm. These quiet encounters brought wonder and peace. Most of all, I discovered resilience I didn't know I had. The wilderness stripped away doubt, leaving a sense of belonging and competence. I wasn't just surviving. I was learning to thrive. As the week ended, I missed my family most, their laughter, shared meals, simple companionship. I craved a hot shower, a luxury I'd never truly appreciated before, but I didn't miss my phone emails or the endless noise of the city. The absence of digital distraction was a relief. My mind felt clearer, my focus sharper. I didn't miss the constant choices and rush of modern life. In the cabin, life was simple decisions, meaningful and time my own. The greatest gift was the freedom found in slowing down. Returning to civilization was a shock. The noise, the demands, the endless notifications. The silence of the cabin had taught me the value of calm and clarity. I learned I could provide for myself, and that simplicity brings contentment. The essentials, warmth, water, food, shelter, were enough. I didn't want to abandon modern life, but I wanted to live it more intentionally. The week unplugged inspired me to declutter my mind and make space for what matters. In the end, the silence became my anchor, a reminder of peace I can carry with me, always.